You ever watch a grown woman, someone old enough to be your mom, grab a teenager by the wrist and try to drag her across a sidewalk, all in broad daylight with half the neighborhood watching? Yeah, that happened right here in Maple Glen, just outside the clubhouse, where the air always feels heavy and humid, like it's waiting for a storm that never quite rolls in. My daughter Maya, 16, pink sports bra catching the sun, had just come off swim practice, hair still dripping, mind still in the clouds, when Patricia Langford, our beloved HOA president, snatched her like she was some kind of shoplifter. I was halfway out of my truck, yelling before my door even closed, "Stop touching her." But Patricia didn't so much as blink. She spun around, her voice sharper than a slap, announcing for the world to hear, "As president, I have authority to enforce dress standards." Maya whimpered, neighbors gawked, and Patricia's grip only tightened. I remember the look in her eyes. When I told her, as cold as I could manage, "Good, because the cameras you installed, they're still feeding through my server." The mask cracked. She had no clue that before I was a teacher, I built security systems, surveillance grids, permanent cloud backups, the kind that don't forget, no matter who's president this month. If you've ever seen a bully realize, in real time, that their own rules just hung them out to dry, you'll know why I didn't blink either. That was the day Maple Glen's little fiefdom started to unravel. I've lived here 7 years. Long enough to see Patricia turn a retirement hobby into a one-woman campaign for absolute control. Trash cans out an hour late. That's a fine. Kids laughing too loud near the pool. Threats. Widow's bird feeder? Harassment. But laying hands on my daughter, that was a first. Maya just wanted to go home. Her wrist was marked red, her eyes shiny with the kind of tears kids try to hide. I told her to get in the car, lock the doors. She didn't argue, just slipped away, trembling. Patricia crossed her arms, chin high. "Expect fines, Daniel. The board won't tolerate indecency." Indecency? I looked straight at the security camera, the red light blinking. "You just assaulted a minor, Patricia. On camera. Multiple cameras." Maybe she thought she owned that footage. But she'd forgotten who built the system. Years ago, when I still believed this community could act like adults. Patricia's got that XHR executive energy, big on rules, even bigger on exceptions, that only seemed to protect her own peace and quiet. What she didn't know, my late wife and I wrote half those policies. She was an attorney, before cancer took her, and the one thing we agreed on was, you can't let little tyrants hide behind big words. Every line on that pool sign, "Proper attire required beyond this point," was written to protect people, not shame them. Patricia twisted it into a bludgeon. She tried to make me the trespasser. "Go home, Daniel. This is a private community." "Exactly," I told her. "Private means you don't get to play cop." She muttered something about fines and stormed off, never noticing my phone was already syncing the footage to an off-site server. That night, I must have watched that moment 100 times, the way her hand clamped on Maya's wrist, the way Maya flinched, the arrogance dripping from Patricia's voice as she declared, "This is a violation." At sunrise, I'd pieced together 3 angles of the incident. 2 ring cams, 1 pool feed, all time-stamped. That's assault. Plain and simple. At 8 a.m., I got the email, HOA violation notice. $500 fine for indecent attire unbecoming community standards. I almost laughed, almost. I sent it to Nora, my old law school friend. Overreach. They can't do that. File a police report if you haven't. Already done. The sheriff's database had every second of video, every scream, every petty threat. You know the kind of bully who counts on good people backing down. Patricia's built a kingdom on that. But this time, I wasn't backing down. I walked into the HOA office, demanded the bylaws. Linda, the secretary, slid me the folder, hands shaking. "You should know," she whispered. "The board didn't vote on that notice. Patricia did it herself. That's the crack I needed. Fines require a board vote." Patricia skipped that step. Walking back to my car, I passed the pool sign, my wife's name still printed in the corner, faded but there. Patricia had twisted her words into a weapon. I called Nora again. She issued the fine solo, physically restrained a minor. "We're filing both criminal and civil." "Do it," Nora said, "and document everything." By noon, I had a folder for evidence, a folder for patterns, and one for exposure. I was never a fighter, but I'm hell on wheels with a paper trail. That afternoon, Mrs. Atkins, a neighbor, knocked on my door. Shaky hands. She did the same to my granddaughter last year. We paid the fine to keep peace. She handed me the old violation. Same language, same signature. Not just us. A pattern. Patricia doubled down, sent another email, accusing me of slander. Problem is, someone else had already posted my video to Facebook. The comments exploded, calls for her resignation. Others defending her, the neighborhood splitting down the middle. Maya sat at the kitchen table, scrolling. Dad, am I in trouble? No, honey. I said, she is. I'd like to say the war ended. There. But Patricia wasn't finished. She called a private emergency meeting, tried to lock down the board, banned anyone from talking to me or even mentioning the footage. Linda, bless her, tipped me off. That was a violation all on its own. Every move Patricia made, she built her own gallows, one secret meeting at a time. You want a twist? Here it is. Terrell, the community security guard, found me at the cafe the next morning. Shoulders tense, hands shaking. I saw what she did, he muttered. Body cam was rolling. She told me to delete it. Did he? No. I backed it up. Turns out, Patricia had ordered detentions before. Kids on scooters, teens at the pool, all under her personal version of order. Terrell risked everything to keep the files safe. Handed me a USB with damning internal emails. Orders to detain violators for parent pickup. Not just Maya. 3 other kids. If you're waiting for the final punch, here it comes. The next night, we had the showdown. Patricia stood under the HOA banner, voice full of practiced charm, painting herself as the victim of outside agitators and privacy breaches. She didn't know the sheriff's office was watching the live stream. She didn't know I had a signed court injunction suspending her authority, or that Linda was about to read it aloud. Patricia tried to shout it down. I plugged in my laptop, projected the body cam footage behind her, and watched as the whole room gasped. Maya, crying, being dragged across the sidewalk, time-stamped and verified. Patricia sputtered. This is taken out of context. Terrell stood up. No, ma'am. That's the whole context. And just like that, the dam broke. Residents stood, stories poured out, years of fines and threats finally. Seeing daylight, deputies walked in, handed Patricia a court summons. The applause as they escorted her out. Raw, wild, a sound I'll never forget. But that wasn't the end. The county called a restitution hearing, packed house, neighbors lining up to speak, the judge calm and steady at the podium. I stood, told our story, not with rage, but with steel. Terrell confirmed the detainments. Mrs. Atkins talked about paying a fine for a wind chime, and suddenly, the whole room was alive with people refusing to be quiet anymore. Patricia was barred from every HOA board in the county. The new charter, based on the policies my wife once wrote, passed by unanimous vote. That night, Maya told me Mrs. Atkins was teaching her to plant roses, therapy with petals. The air felt lighter. Neighbors lingered outside, kids rode scooters again, and laughter, real laughter, floated down the street for the first time in years. I tossed the last violation notice in the trash. Just paper now. My wife's words on the pool sign stood, meant to protect, never punish. I recorded a final message for the homeowner stream, looking straight into the camera. Power only works when we stop paying attention. Don't give silence to people who mistake control for care. If you've ever fought back and won, you know how it feels, strange, shaky, but right. So tell me, where do you stand? Who's holding the power in your neighborhood? Drop your stories in the comments. Hit subscribe if you believe in standing up, and let's keep this conversation rolling. Because justice isn't just a moment, it's what happens next.